Here we are, 1 month into a new year. And even if you're a person who doesn't make resolutions, most of us say that at some level we want to be different at the end of the year. And that can be we want to spend more time in the Bible or learn how to get organized, be more active, eat healthier, read more mind stimulating things. How are you doing on that so far? Well, 85% of you who set off on the right direction took a hard left at some point in time, and now you're wondering, where the heck am I? What happened? Well, you came to the right video. Today, I'm gonna tell you, what happened and how to get you back in the right direction. So let's get started. For most of us, we approach goal setting like this. We're just walking along, taking a nice leisurely stroll, and we see something. It looks interesting. And we go closer and we identify it's a bag. And inside this bag, there's all these great and interesting things, but there's no identification. Like, we don't know who these things belong to. So you get home, you call and see if there's any way that you can reconnect this bag to somebody in the neighborhood, and over time, there's no response. So, you think, I guess these things are mine. And so you start to enjoy the things in the bag. And then after a while, you're no longer interested in the things in the bag. And why? Because, they're not your things. And that is oftentimes how we approach our goals. We see other people that are doing things that are great and amazing and fascinating, and we want to be a part of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with the things in the bag, but they're not your things. They're not your values. When you take on what culture says, or your friends say, or your family says, and you take on those things as if they're yours, but they're really not, after a while, you just don't stick with them. And if you really want to live your best life, you have to live your best life, which means understanding what you value. And that's what we're going to do today. Simple definition for values. They highlight what we stand for, they guide our behavior, and provide a personal code of conduct. And when we are in alignment with our values, we thrive, we do well, we accomplish goals, we stay motivated, and the more adrift we get, the more distress we have. I kind of think of our values as being the anchor to who we are. And as long as we're anchored to who we are and what's important to us, and we're doing those things in line with that, we do well. And that means the rest of the world can be spinning off its axis, but if I know what inherently is good for me and how I function well and I can thrive, then I'm gonna be okay. And even if I drift, I'm gonna recognize what's happening, and I'm going to do the things, because I know what they are, to get back on track and moving forward again. And for a Christian, going even deeper, the anchor needs to be more than just what's inherently important to you. Is it anchored on what's important to God? And are you living those values out as they are presented by God? You got it? Okay. So there are a couple of ways to discover your values. And probably the most common way is to get online and find a values list, just a list of words, and then you circling the words that resonate with you. And the problem with that approach is that a lot of us will pick words that we think we're supposed to like or seem popular and important, instead of really identifying the things that are important to us. So in order to get around that, I'm going to give you 3 questions. And here's question number 1 to ask yourself: what is a positive memory or memories that really stand out to you, that just resonate with you and you come back to them on a regular basis? What is it about that situation that stands out? What was the situation? Who was there? What were you doing? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? And write all those things down. And I'll give you an example from my own life. When I was younger, I would spend a lot of my holidays with my grandmother. And one particular summer, she had to make 7 cakes for a function for the church. And I loved baking with her. It was so much fun. And she chose a day where it was going to be just her and I to work on this order. And I was so excited. And as any kid would do, I set off to like every single batter bowl and every single frosting bowl. And there were seven cakes. So that was a lot. And so needless to say, I got sick, really sick. But I still love that memory. Why on earth would I love a memory where I got sick? My grandmother chose me. It was a day that we spent together in relationship. She taught me baking skills. We got to create all these great recipes and we got to share them with people. We got to share them with the church. She talked about God with me. It was just this amazing time. I loved it. I mean, everything except for the being sick part. Okay, you got it? Question 2. Think of a time when you were frustrated, angry, highly disappointed, and what were you doing? Who was there? What was the situation? What were your thoughts and what were your feelings? And jot all that stuff down. What made that situation angry and frustrating and irritating for you? I'll give you an example. At my last job, I was a supervisor. And one day I had to call one of my colleagues and inform her that she had made an error. And I told her how she could correct it. It was pretty simple. And her response to me was to cuss at me on the phone and then slam down the phone. Well, my immediate response was to stand up and be like, how dare that woman? And then I heard the Holy Spirit go, no, sit down, take a breath, collect your thoughts, and refocus. I finished my task. I remembered what I know to be true. First of all, I wasn't disrespectful to her, and I want to be a good leader. The reason this was upsetting is that there wasn't respect, there wasn't validation, there wasn't cooperation. Okay, so that's question 2. If you are liking this video so far, push the like button so it can get out into the YouTube universe. Thank you so much. Question 3. What things do you know you just absolutely need to be doing or to have in order to feel fulfilled and at peace? So for me, I love creating, being outside in nature, breathing fresh air. I love spending time in the Bible. I love spending time with my cats and my family and friends. I enjoy sharing and giving. I love learning. I'm always reading books and wanting to discover about how this crazy world works. And so there's all these things. And when I am connected to those things, I just feel like I can be my best self. You've answered the 3 questions. And now you're like, okay, Doc, what do I do now? Well, this is what you're going to do. You're going to look at all those words that you've written down. And you're going to see like, how do those words hang together? For me, I would say relationship, authenticity, sharing, quality time, leadership. And then another group might be creativity and learning and teaching. Those words would hang together. And you just kind of keep doing that, and you get your little categories, okay? And then you look at your categories and you're like, okay, what word really captures everything in this category? Like the one word, if I had to use like one word to really capture the essence of what this is about, what is it? Then you circle that word and that's the word. Because here's the thing, all those things can be valuable to us, right? But we can't make decisions every single day about like, does it fit underneath all these values? That would be exhausting. And the reality is most of us really function from 2 to 3 core values that are supported by all the words underneath. So what do I mean by that? Both examples I gave you, faith was something that was really important to me. So it's no surprise that faith is one of my core values. If I have an opportunity to give, it may be a great yes, but it may not be the best yes. And so when I check in with my faith and look in the Bible, pray about it, what's the feedback that I'm getting? And if it doesn't align with my faith, then yeah, even though it's good and giving is something that I value, I'm not going to do it. And the more you understand that, yes, all these things are important, but there are 2 or 3 that really drive your decisions. And at the end of the day, when they're in contradiction, you're going to go with the main one. How you doing? I know it's a lot. I'm almost done. Yes, you read correctly. Bonus alert, because I am a giver. Let's get to it. If you are a Christ follower, like I am, then knowing all these words and the categories and your core values are great. When you have all these words, it's not just knowing the words and what they mean to you, that they help you thrive, but it's knowing what God says about these words. So it's going to the Bible and finding the scriptures and the stories and the context and what these words mean to God and how we're actually supposed to live them out. Because it can't just be, I like leadership. Leadership align with my faith. And if I do that, then if you do that, we'll do amazing things. Next video will be about how to align your goals with your values. Make sure you come back for the next video. And thank you so much for hanging around to the end. Until next time, have a great day and choose joy. Take care. Bye.